Hey, awesome agents. I just wanted to tell you some cool stuff that was happening here at Keller Williams Round Rock.
Hi, thanks for stopping by today.
Hi, I'm Siobhan Martin with Keller Williams Realty.
Keller Williams Agents. This is Greg Gearing with GDA Property Management. Williams.
Allowing agents to choose their own loan officer is really exciting for the agents and for the loan officers. Being able to get into a rhythm with a particular agent or particular team.
Brian stands out because of his service, the way that he's able to communicate with us. I can call him at any time, even on the weekend. Yay!
My preferred loan officer with Keller Mortgage is Lisa. I love working with her because she's prompt, very experienced, and works well with all of my clients.
Working with Amy has been great. She's getting the service that she needs for her clients. I've been working with several agents on a repeat basis, but this will make it so much easier.
There's so many disruptors in our industry. You have to start thinking, how can you save your clients the most amount of money? What is best for the client? The most important part about Keller Mortgage is that they're adding value. The fact that everything keeps moving in the right direction because it's designed for agents. It's a no-brainer, and it's going to keep getting better.
There are millions of residences across the country, but every one is a home. A home for families of all types. A place to live, rest, and make your own. A home for all your things and all you love. A safe place you want to keep safe. But stuff happens. Little stuff. But now, more really serious stuff that leaves the majority of homeowners underinsured and at financial risk if there's a fire, flood, hurricane, or major claim. Why is that? Home insurance is complex, jargony, mystifying. In times when everything's getting easier, why hasn't someone stepped up to make getting insurance easier? Now, there's a better way, a simpler way, a perfectly timed way, a way provided exclusively by Keller Williams agents. Say hello to Keller Covered. It's home insurance made awesomely simple. It's a revolution for your clients and for you. For your clients, Keller Covered makes it easy to compare quotes from a variety of top carriers in one place. Information on a client's new home is automatically loaded into Keller Covered. No jargon, no friction, no what? With a few taps, your client confirms their information, then gets multiple quotes in just 2 to 5 minutes, not in hours. Nothing's faster, nothing's easier, nothing's like it. Your client can explore options, choose the coverage they need, and buy if they like. They get a plan that's truly right for their family, budget, and new home. So when they move in, they can rest assured because Keller Covered has them, well, covered. Of people who've already tried it, 100% say they'd recommend it. For agents, Keller Covered revolutionizes how you work with clients. It expands your relationships. It gives you data to be more involved in more aspects of their homes and lives. When it's renewal time, you're there with help to make sure your client's protection is up to date and you are top of mind. Keller Covered is an industry-first competitive advantage. Not only does it bring you closer to clients, it slams the door on outside companies hungry for your commission. Many have tried and failed. They'll be back. But you and Keller Covered will be there, delivering the future today to make your clients' lives easier, year after year after year. Keller Covered. Home insurance made awesomely simple. Good insurance. Good insurance.
Okay, I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you guys about Bold, which is coming. It's going to be either, we were originally given Thursdays, but it may switch to Wednesdays, we don't know yet, but it will be, the very first step is March 25th or 26th. Then we skip a week, and then it'll be April 8th or 9th, and it'll run through like the middle of May or something. It should be done like before, before school gets out and everyone's starting to graduate and all that kind of stuff. So the deal is we are going to have a reimbursement plan. So the faster, and I'm going to structure that, but the sooner that you register for Bold, the more advantageous it's going to be for you. We typically would do a reimbursement in either 8 transactions, 4 transactions, or 2 transactions. So I'm going to set a deadline of if you register by a certain time, then we'll reimburse you on your next 2 transactions. So it really is an investment in your business because you're going to get reimbursed, and so you're investing in yourself, right? So I have registration forms. So if anybody's interested in registering, they're going to be right up here. If you want to register, you can fill out the form and either hand it to myself or April, who's right back there. For those of you who don't know, April's our productivity coach. Or Mary, if you happen to be upstairs or something and you just want to hand it to her. So I'm really excited. I was on a call today with our Bold coach, and she is right now leading the biggest Bold in history of like 187 people up in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Wow. And we are going to partner with 2 other market centers for our Bold. So we'll be with the Northwest Market Center and Georgetown. So there'll be 3 of us. We're expecting 160 people. It's going to be great energy. It's going to be great, having a lot of like-minded people in the room. So we're super excited. So again, Bold, if you want to register, here's the registration form. And probably by the end of this week, I'm going to figure out that if you register by a certain time, you'll get reimbursed in 2 transactions. Then the next level would be 4 transactions, and then if you register up until like right before it starts, then it would be like 8. So the sooner you register, the faster you get your money back. So, all right, anybody have any questions?
Where are the classes going? Where is it?
So currently, hello, how are you? Good. Currently, we are slated for a Champion School of Real Estate. However, that may change.
Is that Cedar Park?
It's right there on 620 in Palmer area, kind of. Right now, that will only hold 130 people, and we fully intend in hitting our goal in this office. I'm not sure about if everybody else intends to hit their goal, but we're hitting our goal. So if we get to higher than that number of people registered, then I've given them 2 other options, and they're both in Pflugerville. So I was trying to find an area that's kind of like a little bit of a drive for everyone. So we'll see what happens with that. So it'll either be at Champions or it'll be at an event center in Pflugerville. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Cool. All right. Take it away.
Very cool.
So we're happy to have Ian here. If y'all don't know Ian, this is Ian.
Hi. Name's Ian. How are you?
So, thanks for being here.
No, it's all right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So it's funny. That's an interesting segue. I was going to wear my Bold shirt today, but instead. Baby Yoda is so hot right now. So that's what I'm doing. He gets attention, right? And that's kind of the point of this class, is to help you go through and figure out what types of things will work for you creating your videos to get attention. What are our jobs? What are our jobs as realtors?
Buying, selling, and invest.
What was that?
Buying, selling, and invest.
Sure. How do you find people to do that?
Grab their attention.
You have to grab their attention. There are so many things happening all the time. Too much happening all the time. And scroll, scroll, scroll. What can we do to stop? Right? What can we do to stop? Well, you can't just jump into being super, what's the word, magnetic. You have to learn the basics before you can jump into being a little more magnetic. Thank you so much. I hadn't done that yet. I figured I'd figure it out. Okay, so first question, who here, and just show of hands, who here has actually seen a video that I've done? Okay, so that's good. And I'm not going to ask if they're good because I don't want to be embarrassed. But it's important, right? Because like I said, it's about getting attention, and you can't get attention if you're not seen. You won't be seen if you're not putting stuff out there, anything out there. So I was going to ask everybody to participate here. I'm going to do it anyway. Do me a favor. It's completely random. It's out of the ordinary. But will you just take out your phone and take a selfie? I have a method to my madness. You don't have to show me. You don't have to send it to me. Nothing like that. Just take a selfie.
What if we don't like our teacher?
Don't worry about it. And if it's okay, I'm going to take a picture of you taking your selfies. Like weirdos.
Hey, everybody taking a selfie.
Thanks. Yeah. So we'll get back to that. I think it's funny. Notice how everybody's smiling? Everybody's smiling because it's fun to do that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Before we start moving into the class, I'd like, it's seriously 2 seconds for you to fill out a survey. This is the website address. This is long, so anybody who has iPhones, you can't swipe that. You gotta like tap, 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 tap. This is the only thing I'm going to ask you to do on the computer right now. Or I'm sorry, on your phones. Super quick. And we won't take more than 45 seconds. It's 3 questions. Thanks. And then after you complete it, you'll end up with a link. That link you'll want to save. I'm trying to make this where you do very little and you have, what's the words I used? Brent, what did I say earlier? Massive value. Massive value. Massive value. That's the intent here today.
Ian, can you move the, I'm trying to, I can't see the beginning. Is it just Ian? Or
yeah, Ian of AUST.in.
Okay, Ian of, okay, thank you.
I had one of those guys call me. You know how people call you and then you hear all that noise in the background? You know they're a telemarketer right away, right? And the guy goes, "Are you Ian O. Foston?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, whatever." It just, it kills me. Mm-hmm. I could have made this easier. I just wanted to see everybody.
BBS.
Huh?
BBS.
Yeah, I could have done that. I could have. Still can. Once again, when you're done, you'll end up with a link. It'll say thank you, and then there will be a link. And this is my own data collection points. Instead of just handing out paper and wasting trees and all that, helps you understand what to you is massive value.
So for some reason, it's not coming up on mine.
Is the dot before the IN?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Video basics.
Yeah, I made sure that it's total basic.
That's all right. I'll give you another link later. The one that everybody else ends up getting.
That's fine. Thank you.
Sure. At the same time, I guess I'll hand out some business cards, right? You've got my business card, but I'm going to hand it out anyway. Pay no attention to the brokerage or whatever. Because first off, I don't even. These cards are all old. But I want, if you need to text me, ask any questions later, you're welcome. I'd love to be able to keep in contact.
What do we do where it says the course downloads or links? We copy that again?
Oh yeah. So right here you have your email. Okay. Yes. And then hit submit down at the bottom. Perfect. So there's the link.
There's the link.
So click that link. Screenshot it, save it. Everybody know how to take a screenshot? On your phone?
No.
That's okay. What do you have? Android or iPhone? You have an iPhone? iPhone 11?
We just got it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it yet.
You will also, should also receive it in an email. But
Mary, maybe you hold these two, the top here and this one, and I'll screenshot it.
yeah. Now those things are all for later. I'm not going to go over what's on that list, but that way you can take your time. That link at the end shows my YouTube channel, because I'd love for you to subscribe. It shows the gear that I use. We're going to touch on that a little bit, but it also shows the apps that I think will help you, whether it's mobile or on your computer. Because you can create all the content you want, but you have to know what to do with it after you create it, right? So again, I'm not going to spend any time on that page, but it's important for you to have that. Cool? All right, let's see if this thing actually works. Which one is my click? Click. Okay, in this class you will learn, obviously, what you need, the process. This is where a lot of people stop, right? They get into making the video. The video is great, and then they're like, but I want to do this, and I want to add graphics, and where do I put it, and how do I put it? So we'll cover that. A few marketing cheats that will help your video grow a little bit more organically than if you don't do them, and then some ideas to get started with content. Once again, it's a very basics class. I am very squirrely. So my point in saying that is, it's about 30 slides. It's not a lot. This is a 2-hour class. That puts us at about 4 minutes a slide. So if I start going off on a tangent or something, reel me back in, please. Okay? All right. And I move a lot. So hopefully that's not an issue for too many people.
Stand between the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's a line here. I like it.
If you're not in the line, you're not in the camera.
Oh. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so what does this look like? This is my attempt at being funny. Sure, it's me.
Maybe, but it's funny stuff.
It's funny stuff.
It makes me want to, yeah.
So check this out. Real estate, you're excited because you're getting your license. You think everybody's going to talk about real estate and that's how your business is going to run. And then you realize the reality is, if you don't already have relationships or aren't building these relationships, you don't really have a job. Right? So that's the whole purpose. We've learned that we need to put ourselves in front of other people. This is the only thing I will read directly out of the entire class. By 2022, online videos will make up more than 82% of all consumer internet traffic, 15 times higher than in 2017. And I actually think that's a low stat. I think that's a low statistic. Okay, so 2017, how long ago was that?
Not so long ago.
Not so long ago. What, 5 years?
Yeah.
So I do have my phone on Do Not Disturb. However, if it's an unknown caller or someone started my database, it goes through because I don't want to miss those. You know, some of those are important. So sorry for that interruption. What are the stats in real estate? When someone joins in real estate, what are the statistics on how long they last?
Usually it's less than 2 years, like 85% less than 2 years.
Right. So from 2017, most people are gone already. Isn't that interesting? So I want to say that's a correlation, not directly to video, but to how you learn how to run your business. Make sense? I don't have a meme for that. I don't have a meme. Hi there. So a couple more stats, and then I'll get off stats. I don't like stats so much, but some people do, and that's why I want to share them. So YouTube, every day, 5 billion people look at stuff on there. And so the reason this is important is because these are platforms where you can put your video and share them with other people. And I'll get into the importance of that later in some of my marketing hacks, but it's really important to know that your video is capable of being on there. We'll talk about social media a little more later as well, but those aren't, the platforms are different and different purposes. So YouTube, Dailymotion, Vimeo, and Twitch. Those are your big ones for longevity. And uploading videos directly. Okay, 116 million, 24 million, and then Twitch. Who here is on Twitch?
My kids are.
Your kids are.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Your kids are on Twitch, and right now
he's 23. He's on the cusp of buying a home.
That would have been my point. So you just gave it to me, right? He's on the cusp of buying a home. Imagine if you're in here. You might be on YouTube, but it's hard to get seen in 5 billion daily views. It's not as hard here. I'm just gonna let that sink in. And that's the excitement of things like Instagram and TikTok, all those other things that we'll talk about a little bit later. But largest long-term impact, longest running right now is YouTube, or the most impact for people is YouTube. Why is YouTube up top? Anybody know? Nobody knows. Say again?
It's been around longer.
Well, it's been around for a while, but what
It's
else?
a huge platform. I mean, and it's international.
That's it. That too. So these are all international. In fact, Dailymotion is owned by a French company. I forget what Twitch is and all that, but yeah, YouTube has been around for a while. It is international, but it's also owned by Google, right? So YouTube. So Google is the first largest search engine in the world. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And you can tell because 5 billion people go on there. A lot of people spend time on their Facebook feeds. I'm spending time on YouTube. All my time. If I'm not out actively doing a transaction or sleeping, I'm probably on YouTube. Okay, I want to play this for those who haven't seen any of my videos. I'm only going to play about 30 seconds of it. There's no point in going longer than that. Are you or someone you know looking for a 4-bed, 3-bath house in a family-focused neighborhood with an integrated school system? Let's see what that looks like. With your Jeff Bezos, your Ring doorbell, where you can see when people are walking up your front porch. Also included is a smart lock, which means you have access via code or key. All of the stainless appliances are included. So you get your fridge, you get your microwave, your range, and your dishwasher. And would you look at this countertop? It is huge. You can entertain so many people here. I mean, you've got stools and everything. You can pretty much do whatever you like. There's even seating on the windowsill for the people that aren't invited to the big table. You can have hardwood. You can have tile. You can have tile that look. All right, so that's good enough.
That's a nice house, by the way.
It is a nice house. How the heck do I get out of here? Uh-oh, Bruce.
Where was that at?
Wouldn't you want to know?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were a buyer. Right?
It looks like a lot of
Santa Rita Ranch.
Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about that video. So what's interesting is that video, I didn't think it was that good. I was like, this is fun. I'll enjoy it. It was very long. It was like 8 minutes long. But from that video spawned 5 transactions. Is that important to you as realtors?
Absolutely.
Right? 5 transactions, multiple listings and purchases. A lot of them were double-sided because it's new construction. So they had to move out of their old house to get into their new one. A couple of them fell out. but that's not the point. We started the transaction. And a few of them, like I've got one pending, one that's coming real soon. So it's critical that you understand how powerful that is. 5 transactions from one video. Okay, so I'm gonna spend very little time on this slide. I wanted to give a little bit about my history. I was at Fortune 100 pharmaceutical international instructional designer for, I don't know, 15 years before I moved to Austin. 10 years, 15 years, something like that. Big difference, right? So I get very technical. I was in the IT department. If I'm too technical, stop me, slow me down, tell me to change things. Been to a lot of countries. That was fun. Realized that I like meeting people, teaching people, talking to people, all that sort of thing. I've only been a realtor for about 4 years, and I've broker hopped. I've actually been at 4 brokers. I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to do that. Why would anybody ever change brokers, right? So I'm not going to spend any more time on that, but you should know that I've moved around. Now let's talk about a couple more YouTube things, or a couple more video sets. So on YouTube, I get 270 views every 48 hours. I'm not doing anything. That's happening right now, okay? That's not a lot. That's just what I get. That's just what I get. I'm not that good. But I'm getting there. My age demographic is 25 to 44. How old is your son?
He's 23.
Great.
So he's on the cusp.
He's on the cusp.
Yeah.
So your son may have seen this video or coming club or something. And it doesn't, I mean, again, you can only get in front of as many people as you can. That's the goal, right? 28.5 thousand impressions every month.
What does that mean?
Which means on the side of the video, on the side of a video that you're watching on YouTube or somewhere, or on Google, 28,000 people see that my video is there. They may not click it, but they see it. Now here's the thing. If you're paying for Facebook ads or Google ads to get those impressions or to get those views, there's no guarantee that you're going to get leads, and it costs a lot of money. A lot of money. I have not paid anything for this. So that's important. In September, at the end of September, I got married. So I am a new husband. And then local guides. Okay, so this is important too. On Google, I currently have 25 plus million views of pictures and videos. Also important. I'll give you one example. At the D.R. Horton in Jarrell, I had just brought some buyers to see a new construction home. I stood in front of the sign and I was like, hey, listen, I don't know if you know this, but the builder, they have agents that are working there that work for the builder and represent the builder. I can be here in 15 minutes and I will work for you. If you're interested in buying a home, reach out to me. Here's my number. Now, that was less than, 20 seconds? It's sitting on Google when someone searches for D.R. Horton in Jarrell.
You're a smart guy.
I'm different, and we'll talk about that.
Smart.
I like, who here follows Tom Ferry? You follow Tom Ferry? What is his big phrase? He uses it all the time. This is great for realtors. R&D, research and development, or rip off and duplicate. That's what he uses. He says rip off and duplicate. He is all for that.
Yeah.
Because everybody does the same thing. We're all realtors. We're all doing the same thing. The difference is you have your personality and your flair that you need to add into whatever it is that you want to do. Cool? Oh, why am I here if I work for a different brokerage? That's important. Relationships are important to me. Just like with buyers, relationships with other realtors. If we're ever doing a transaction, that's great. If for any reason, we saw the stats earlier, if for any reason you get out of the business, maybe you have other business to refer. I don't know. Maybe you don't even live in this area or spend a lot of time in this area. So relationships are big for me. Refinement is important because this is the first time I'm teaching this class, and I just wanted to get your feedback. If there's any questions or any things I need to change, that's important. I want to make sure it fits at the right level and it's a massive value. And then eventually, referrals can come from out of state as well. I created a referral video, and immediately within the first 2 days, I got 3 referrals. Interesting. All right, just a little more validation. When you go on Google and search for your name, right now, what do you get? Right? That's this one. If you search for your name. Now, what I did is I went into incognito mode. Do I have a laser pointer on this? I'm not that tall. There you go. Incognito mode. Why did I go to incognito mode? I know you know, Dustin. Somebody else.
You don't want it to know what your search history is.
Right.
What you're normally hitting.
Yes.
Because it's going to go and go, oh, we know, we got you.
Yes.
AI or whatever is what it, yeah.
AI drives what people see if they're logged in. That's important whenever you create anything online, to know what people who don't know you are going to see versus what you are going to see. Anything that your friends put out, you're going to see first. And these are friends that you communicate with a lot. Or let's say you're in Round Rock and you live in this area and you do a lot in this area. When someone searches, you want to make sure that you're there. If you search and you're signed in, you're always going to come up. So that's why I put it in incognito mode, to make sure that it's actually valid. So a couple things, like I think that one was the address of a different video I did. I'm number 3 on Google search, and that was after 2 days of posting. Everybody wants to be on the first page of Google, and a lot of people pay a lot of money for it, right? This one is just my name, I think. So if I type in my name, and then this one is real estate or something, right? And so there's a lot of good information in there, and it's mostly because I spend a lot of time doing videos, silly things. Open-ended question. Now we can actually get into some of the meat of it. What makes a video good? Anybody who's not trusting?
Keeps the audience.
No, it's not.
Keeps the audience.
It's
Okay.
not boring.
It's not boring.
I mean, just not boring. It can be funny.
Yep.
It can be sad. It can be anything that grabs you and pulls you in. It's just not boring.
Not boring. Got it. What else?
Something informative.
Educational. Yeah? Okay, so then what do you need to make that happen? I'm talking materials. What materials do you need to make it educational, not boring? What do you need?
You need to ask questions.
What material do you need? What devices do you need?
Oh.
Maybe that's a more clear question.
Video
I'll
camera?
change that later.
I remember.
Video camera, okay.
Lots of photographs.
Your phone,
Your phone.
pictures, and you can do that with your phone. And that's where I was going with this. I don't know if everybody can see it just because of the angle of the monitor, but the truth is, all you need is your phone. All you need is your phone. However, you see these videos and you're like, oh my God, I want to know what they're doing with this and how they did that and how they made that happen. And so we'll talk about the different materials. In fact, that link that I sent out earlier has a list of items where you can buy them and you can just run with it. Or you can use your phone. So real quick, I'm trying not to get too technical with this, but I'm going to spend time discussing these things. Anytime that you see an asterisk at the top of the screen, that means that link I sent out earlier has something that's related to this. So this is all talking about equipment. That link I sent earlier has all the equipment. So you just click a button and boom, you can see exactly what equipment. But I'm going to show some of it too, right? All you really need is a phone or a camera. Now what's important, apparently just went through puberty. What's important is understanding the difference between a phone and a camera, right? Everybody's got their phone with them. But what you lose, unless you have an iPhone 11 Pro, maybe it's the Pro, or Max or Pro Max, is wide angle. So you notice the difference when you get real estate, when you take real estate photography or you pay for real estate photography, you're like, how do they get the rooms to look so darn big? I walked in and the room doesn't look anything like that. That's wide angle. And now it's on every current generation of mobile phone. So when people say, well, can I just use my iPhone 4? Yep. Is it going to look like that? So you have to be a little more creative. So that's where That's one big difference between a camera and a cell phone. Stabilized. So have you ever seen a video and you watch it and it's super shaky? I know you have. Everybody's seen that. That's actually been a style for a while. It is. It's a style. It's a different type. In fact, who here is a fan of Marvel movies? Or who has Disney Plus? Come on. Everybody has Disney Plus, right? So in Spider-Man, they got this kid. He's like, I don't know, 17 years old, and that's the guy who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel movies. And sorry,
My phone was talking about Spider-Man.
that's funny. And so what's interesting is whenever his scene comes up, you'll see him like taking a selfie, and it's all shaky, and but that's perfect for his audience, and that actually draws people in. Google's done a lot of studies. I'm sorry, Disney's done studies on what attracts people. So that's interesting. My point in that is, again, current generation phones have stabilization built in, if you understand how to turn that setting on. Sometimes you have to sacrifice the quality of the video, like how clear it is, in order to get the stabilization to turn on. But that's important. So an iPhone Pro Max 11, right? That will be very stable and give you crystal clear images crystal clear video, which is good to know. Another big one, and again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on all these, but I think it's important to understand. Blur. So phone versus camera, you get that blurry effect in a lot of video cameras. On your phone, you don't necessarily. You might get it in pictures, but you don't get it in video. And that's one of those things where when you see it, you're like, oh man, the video looks so good. How did they make that happen? They just have a different lens that you can attach to a camera. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm going to show you a couple things. Gimbal. If you have this and your phone, that is all you need. You put your phone on here, and you can use it, and it'll stay nice and stable. That's it. You can hold it like this, but depending on the gimbal you buy, I actually have a gimbal
That's called a gimbal?
It's called a gimbal. And it addresses your stabilization. It makes video nice and smooth. And they have some of them, they have some of the gimbals that expand out, which is really neat. So you can almost use it like this, like those selfie sticks, which is silly unless you need it. It's not silly when you need it, when you understand what it does for you. So this is if you were using a phone. If you wanted to go camera, this is the rig that I use. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but a couple things that are important, which are in that list. I have a gimbal, that same thing I was talking about, which keeps it nice and smooth. It's not on, so it's shaking a little more than normal. Otherwise, I can move it around and angle it and everything, and it'll stay facing me or facing whatever I want. And then it's attached to a tripod, or this is a mono because it's only one, but it's attached to something that'll hold it still. So that video I showed earlier, and the video that was in the invite for this class, in most cases, I would set this silly thing in the corner, I would adjust the height, and I'd come over here, and I'd be like, something, something, this stove. And then I would take that, move it over here, and I would say, something, something, this fridge. And I did that, and I did that, and I did that. It took a little bit of time, but the quality of the video, remember, more than 10,000 organic views, and 5 transactions came from it. And it probably took me a total of 7 or 8 hours. Total, like I'm talking editing and everything, and planning, and we'll get more into that. So, important to know. Last thing I'm going to show you, last 2 things I'm going to show you. You didn't see back when I had my coat on. I'll show you that in a second. And then I also have this. Remember how I said a gimbal keeps your phone stabilized, right? So you've got a gimbal for your phone. You've got a larger gimbal for your camera, if you want a camera. And then you also have something like this. Now this is just my example of one. It's basically Anybody ever seen a drone before, or know somebody who has a drone, and they have that little camera on top of it? So the company that makes a lot of drones, they created this thing where it's basically a gimbal and a camera on a stick. And so I can walk around, talk, do all that sort of stuff, and this has better video quality than just about any phone on the market. I don't have to carry this around. Oh my God, that's terrible. And with the little accessory, you can actually connect it to any tripod. Put it on a little tripod, set it here, record my video. Move, record my video, or just sit with something in the background, with the background of a picture of a house, and just record an educational video or something like that. So this is
on the list.
It is on the list. All of it's on the list. And so I guess I don't know how to, I'll have to text. I know what I'll do. Anybody who doesn't already have the list, and I don't have your contact information, I will send that link. Or if anybody's in this class and already has it, I will make sure you get that link. And the purpose of that link is just, it has all the equipment that I use and apps that I use. Okay?
How do we get on the list?
Anybody remember that video basics link?
Yeah.
Anybody have it? There you go. She's got it.
Thank you.
Who else just name it? You can also just text me and I'll send it to you. Text me and I'll send it to you. You don't need it for now, but it does have all the information. Like I said, I'm trying to save paper, make it nice and easy for you, all that sort of stuff. So I also have something called a remote. So another thing that stops a lot of people from doing video is, let's say I wanted to showcase a stove at a listing, right? And I wanted to talk about the features of the stove. That one video, I went through every element of the house that I would if it were a tour of the house. And I think that mattered to people. So if I had set this up and I wanted to do it, if I'm over here, who's standing behind the camera? Not me. Not me. So what else did I get as an accessory? A remote. So most cameras, because phones don't have this, most cameras, decent cameras, you can click a button and it'll start recording. And then you can click stop. Saves so much time. That probably saves me an hour out of the entire process. Again, depending on what I'm doing. Ask anything, please.
How do you know that you're in the shot? How do you know that you're just not having to come in?
Interesting that you were to ask that question. This particular camera, another reason why I got this instead of the phone is this particular camera actually has a flip-up screen. So I can see myself in the shot. But another little trick that I would use is, because it's stationary, in a lot of cases, I'm doing all of these videos solo. But because it's stationary, I'll set it, and I'll actually frame it before I go over there. Because I can see if the fridge is there. If I'm standing next to the fridge, then I'm pretty sure that I am in that. Like, I'm pretty confident. But later I'll talk about, you need to check that. And that's why. Yes?
So have you ever tried, or has anyone ever discussed using their Apple Watch and their phone for videos?
Why the watch? Oh, so, to start recording?
Yeah, to start and stop, if for someone.
So this gets me into, I can go so technical that it's ridiculous. And I will spend way too much time being very, very technical. But yes, you can record with your phone on your watch, right? Samsung phones, and I think some Apple phones, you have voice recording. You can be like, hey, record video, and it'll start recording. And then you smile, and then you start talking about it. Like, you can do that too. So there are a lot of ways, but I'm trying to keep it very, very basic because it's important, right? The more you put into it, the more time it's going to take. I promise you. I promise you that. One last thing that's super important. When I have my jacket on, and you'll notice in a lot of videos, I'm always wearing a vest or a jacket. Wearing a vest or a jacket because
makes you look more professional. No, you have the microphone?
Yeah.
Microphone.
Oh.
So this is a microphone.
Oh.
I want people to see this. because it's another thing that they can look at when I'm boring. Right? I try not to be boring, but I'm just walking through a house. How can I make that funny? If I'm doing a listing video. It depends on what kind of video I'm doing. But if I have the microphone, it's something for them to look at. Now, what's cool about this is it's on my camera. It's wireless. So I can walk anywhere in the room for a listing and my voice is picked up. That is on the list for things that I think are necessary if you want to make decent videos.
Is there a version of that for the phone?
This one will work for the phone. Depending on what kind of phone you have, you might have to get one of those adapters. Okay, so if it's an iPhone, I know they make adapters for it. But this plug-in, and another reason I bought this specific camera, it plugs directly in. It comes with everything you need. So you have a little cable to plug in, or you get an adapter for your iPhone or your Samsung phone or Google or whatever. Another really, really cool thing about this is the receiver part. I like people being able to see it. I like that, for me, because it's an attention grabber. But if you don't want that, because your video's either a little more professional or you just have a whole different purpose behind it, you can actually plug this or just slide it. It's a little clip. Slide it right here, clip it on, and do one of those wired mics up to your vest, and then it's a little more concealed. It's a little more concealed, and it's just clipped right here. Right? So I look a little more professional. I can zip my jacket or my blouse or whatever. Blouse still used? Do they still use that this year? 2020 blouse? That's my mom and me. Yes?
When you talk about things being concealed,
yes,
don't you have to get their authorization or permission before you take anything?
That's an interesting question. I'm probably going to get in trouble if I say what I feel, right? However, you can easily send an email video. You create a video, and whenever you have a property that you're interested in, heck, it doesn't even matter. You can have every vacant property, and we'll talk about why vacant, every vacant property, send an email to all the realtors, and the same one is a video of you saying, listen, I really want to show this home. I think I have buyers that might be interested, and I would like to help you close a deal or close a I would like to work with you and close this transaction. Would you mind, or would your sellers mind, that's important, would your sellers mind if I did a walkthrough video? Because the thing is, if I was with a buyer, I'm going to tell them, take all the video you want. That has nothing to do with me, right? What's the difference if I'm in it or not? In my mind, what's the difference? I don't want to be responsible, so it is important to ask the question. Also, they have it all public on Zillow. If you check, and it's listed on Zillow and it's public, then they want to sell their house. They want people to do the work. What happens is a lot of realtors end up getting a little, their pride gets in the way, right? Because they use that listing for marketing.
Well, and I have to tell you, the National Association of Realtors Ethics, you have to, all communication goes through the agents. You're not allowed to talk to their clients.
Right.
So the way you explained that was perfect. You talk to the agent, or listing agent, and get authorization. I love the way you did that.
Thank you. Again, check with your broker. I don't want to get in trouble, but that's important, right? All right.
But like the examples you were giving was with the builder. So you just check the builder, make sure you're bueno.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It can be an agent resale listing. I have done an equal amount of both in transactions, and I think it's important to understand the differences. That's why I mentioned if it's a listing video, I love vacant houses, because I don't have to feel like I have to schedule around it. I hate being rushed. In fact, what is it, 1:45? And I'm like, not even, because I get a little, I get a little crazy with that. So, all right.
You really start timing 4 minutes per slide?
Well, this one is important to understand. This is important as far as understanding part of the process, right? Or what you need, which asterisk at the top, which means it's on that link. There's a page there. If you just have a webcam and a computer, let's say you want to create educational content, right? Just like this. I think this is being recorded, right? Yeah. I can sit here and have that conversation with a client. I've sold a house to people that have not seen the house and did not live here. Because I've used Zoom, which is one of the apps on that link. The reason why I use Zoom is because it's, a lot of people hate this word, ubiquitous. It means it doesn't matter if I have an iPhone or an Android. Same thing with YouTube. It doesn't matter if I have an iPhone or an Android. They will see it in the quality that I want them to see it in. Really, really important. And a lot of times when I was mentoring other agents, I would use that as an excuse to talk to them. I could have long meetings or whatever using that. You can do YouTube Live, you can do Twitch, you can do all those things, which just increases your presence. It's recorded, and all you need is a webcam or a laptop because it has it built in. So to make these videos, if you were just doing educational content, you could easily put a lot out there. If you were just doing a listing video but you didn't want to drive anywhere because you're lazy, I know I'm there all the time, right? I don't want to drive because it's inefficient. I could actually pull up a listing on Zillow, just because it's on Zillow, use one of those apps, record my screen, and talk all through it with just a webcam. Minimal effort, maximum results. All right, I'll try to speed this up. A couple other things with light. So earlier I asked everybody to take a selfie. That was the first thing I said, take a selfie. And I took a picture of that because I thought it was hilarious. Most people were like, looking around trying to get, and then posing and everything. That's important. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Somebody answer that.
So it's not boring.
Well, it's not boring.
But you look good.
Because they just can't get the right angle.
Angle. All of this matters, but also the light. Notice your phone gets dim or brighter, right? You don't have that same thing with the camera. Difference between a phone and a camera. The camera is going to be consistently whatever you set it as. Your phone is going to change based on the light. So, if you wanted to do a video in front of, if you wanted to do a video to buyers that were in California and use your laptop and pull up the listing and you record it, because that's funny, or that's fun, you can open up a window, sit here, and the light is on your face, which keeps it nice and bright. It changes the way the video looks completely. Problem is, if it's in California time and it's 7 o'clock here, 7 o'clock p.m. here, it might be dark. So that's where you have those people buy standing lights. That's why you have people do that, because you have a controlled consistency. A tip for very, very good videos. Your lighting is consistent. You can find a window in every house, but not at 9 p.m. Right? Or not in the laundry room. Right? So you can do that. They have little ring lights that attach to your phone or attach to your gimbal. This is how you get into that trap of buying this and buying that. Because all those little things, they matter sometimes. They matter in your head. They matter in your head. It's important to understand them and how they work and why they work. And then you can put anything on a stand, on one of these little monopods or tripods. You can just set it up there. If I just wanted one light, set it here. I could go anywhere, put that light in front of me, put the camera in front of me, and talk. And I can do that in any house at any time. I can do it with a new build if it's stationary. It's easy. Saves me a lot of time. Microphone, we talked about wired and wireless. The other thing is it's consistent quality sound. Because it's wireless, I can be over here. If I'm trying to record a video over here and my phone's sitting over there because I want to show off, do they use pumps in 2020? I want to show off my shoes, right? Because I want to show off whatever kicks I'm wearing. That matters, especially if you have a personality to them. Then it's not going to sound as good without a microphone. Okay? So that little clip-on mic is huge. The consistency stays the same, no matter where I go. Another thing you can do is a recorder app on your phone. There's always an app where you can just hit a button, and if you wanted to do, I'm just talking about random things that may make sense. Let's say I pulled up Zillow and I chose top 10 listings in my market that are under 200,000, right? I can literally just pull up Zillow, show those pictures, press record on my phone, and talk about it, and turn that into a video that I shared before. You can do it with market stats, you can do it with anything. Massive value. And that's free. You already have it. If you have a phone, you already have that. Or if you use your laptop, you already have that. All right, anything before I move on? I spent a lot of time on this slide. Any questions? Once again, there's a link to apps and to the different gear. So the gear and then the software, whether it's mobile or on your computer. What does that do for you? Is it?
Yeah.
Look at that face. That face you just made right there. If I saw that on the internet, I'd click. I'm like, oh, what is she talking about? Right? That's why I did that. So this little slide is tips to just level up your game. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but your vibe, how you present yourself, your magnetic personality, your energy, your smile, all of that comes off. The goal is to elicit emotion, no matter what you do. You can be sad. I actually have a clip-on Bluetooth speaker. I was going to put it in the back and play some music during the class, just to see what you thought about it, if it was distracting, if my energy matched it. A lot of people put out these videos and they put the music and they're all excited. Oh no, they're not excited. Most realtor videos are not exciting. They're very boring. They're very boring, but then they have this upbeat music. That doesn't match. It's incongruent, which causes people to click away. So your vibe needs to match. So if it was disgusting, and then you put a picture of a gorgeous house, that's not good. So other tips, the resolution, how clear it is. We talked about newer phones probably have better resolution. Cameras have even better resolution in most cases. Now, here's what's interesting. Can I click this right here? This algorithm. On Facebook, on YouTube, on all these places, the better the resolution, the higher the probability that it will be shown to people first. Huge. So you might think you can do it with an iPhone 4, which you can. But if you really want to just like break all the rules and keep climbing, the resolution matters. Text matters too, even if it's in Spanish, whatever. It still matters because Google searches for that kind of stuff. Spatial. When I'm setting things down, pay attention to your angle and where it is. I have this on a model pod. If I set it down here, right, and I'm talking about a stove right here, that works. If I'm showing cabinets and the tripod's still down there, it's going to look ridiculous. So be spatially aware. When you're showing a buyer and you're like, hey, check this out, do that. Give people that perspective. That's just a tip. Helps a lot. Duration. When you're getting ready to go out to record things, your phone is probably going to die if you spend a lot of time doing this. And if it's your first video or if it's your 25th video, unless you have a process, you're going to spend a lot of time doing this. What I did, notice the asterisk. I have another link in there, which is a checklist of things you need before you go out and make your videos. So it's easy. You can print it or whatever, download it, and just check, did I do this, did I do this, did I do this? Good, I'm ready to go out and make a video. Or sit at my desk and make a video. So another piece of gear that I recommend, this is important. So it was plugged into the wall getting me juice, but here's the secret, here's the kit. It's a battery charger. This is Android. This is old Android in most headphones or microphones or something, and this is iPhone. All built in, super cheap, it's like 40 bucks, it's on the list. And it plugs into the wall, and I can plug in any other cable that I have for it.
What do you call it?
I don't. There are a lot of different brands, but it's a battery charger with all of the cables plugged in. I don't know what it says on the link. Yeah. Well, the brand name is Helidio, or like that's not going to mean anything to anybody after this class. So that's why I provided a list of links. That's really important. So you can, because there are a lot of classes out there. We take these classes, we get all this knowledge, and then we don't do anything with it because it's too much. But again, easy, Click the link. It has everything that you have, or everything that you need. Let's talk about echo. Earlier, I said if I was doing a listing video, it's different if I do vacant houses versus staged houses or lived-in homes. Who can tell me why? I mean, the answer is right there. The sound bounces. It's less so if I have a mic. Or if I put this on and I put one of those little mics and it has that little black foam on it, that helps with the vibration and so it doesn't echo as much.
What is that called? Like, what do you call that?
This?
Because I didn't see it on the list. What is that?
This is it's a Rode Video Micro mic.
Video mic, okay.
Video Go. It should be on the list. If it's not, I'll make sure to put that on there after the class.
It's in there.
Yeah, it should be the first thing I added. I was like, this is the most important
It's
thing.
down there
Is
somewhere.
it? Okay, you're gonna miss
Yeah.
it.
And there are pictures of each device too. It's expensive, but that's an investment because this thing I can use for any device forever, and it makes my sound so much better.
That's the one thing that I've tried, and it's
One thing.
And then the sound was fine. The video was, but the sound was bad. But that's what I
Yes,
the sound
it
was
changes your world. So echo, H2O. I prefer coffee. Because if I'm going to sit there and do a lot of video, I need a bottle of water because I start getting cotton mouth. So the best way to do this is if I'm going to do, let's say 5 videos, I would do them all in the same day. And then I don't have to worry about it for like a month. But I'm going to need some water and I'm going to need some batteries. All right? Battery chargers. Or hard drives. We'll talk about that later. You can also elicit a partner. Get your lender or your insurance person or somebody who you know isn't doing anything because they're just trying to earn your business anyway. Get them to do the work. Make them make a video. Do it together. Have fun. Does anybody know what this is from? The concept. So this isn't real. You cannot go buy this cereal. It's from a group, it's a podcast and a video YouTube series called Magical Mythical Morning.
Oh my God.
You heard, see that? You see that?
All the time. Yeah.
Right. They did this. They were like, what if there was avocado toast crunch?
And they do stuff like that all the time. That's their shtick.
That's their shtick, and they're always together.
Yeah.
So leverage some of your team. People like to see that. They like to see that you have a good dynamic. It creates interest if you're yourself boring. No children? If they're 23, maybe. Or whatever, right? But if you have a 5-year-old and they're like, eh. Now, I mean to help you, but, oops, did I do stuff? Oh, yeah. I mean to help you, but you can also have your children in the video. That's cheating. Having your children having children in the video, having puppies and all that sort of stuff in the video, but I guarantee you it will take you more time. And you will lose all that efficiency that you planned for. All of it. Because but people like it. That's part of it, right? I'm not just talking listing videos, other videos, personal videos, all that sort of stuff. Okay, a lot of people miss this. You have to ask yourself before every video, what is the purpose? What's the story? I read this book called Story Brand, and it kind of changed my perspective on this. You look at Disney, why they're so successful, why they can buy every other company, because they have a very specific formula that they follow. There's always like this person who's struggling, and then all of a sudden they're having a really hard time, but then they run into somebody that they think can help them. They're like, hey, can you help me? And they're like, I don't know if I have time for you. Then eventually they help them, everything works out, everybody's happy, the end. Every story from Disney is very similar. And the whole point here is think about what story you're telling beforehand. So, in order to do that, well, we talk about the stat real quick. 78% are more likely to remember you if you have a reason or a story in your video. It's a lot of people, a lot of percent. Anything that's shareable Think about shareable content. What's the last thing you shared? Anybody? Last thing you shared on Facebook? Not liked. You shared it.
Usually something funny, it's like, I mean, like where you going, okay, this is not being the right politically correct thing, you know, we do that, but this is funny, you know, that's what I share. Or educational, I think like a recipe or something. I think women do that a lot, and I'm just, you know, you'll see people that share, and then there's some people that only share.
And when you
never
share
post
it,
anything original.
when you share it,
Yeah.
think about it, a recipe. And I don't cook. I make maybe hot dogs and macaroni, maybe, on a bad day. But if I were going to share a recipe, which I've done, it's because it started off, they show a picture of it, and then all of a sudden they show like the process of making it, and then at the end they might even show themselves enjoying it or something, or how easy it is with the recipe at the end. That is a story. That's all I mean. It's still a story. Okay, so this is interesting. I don't remember where this came from. Maybe Tom Ferry? I don't know. Maybe Gary Keller? I don't know. Different is better than better. That's important. And with that, I'm going to show you a 2-minute video. So please watch this.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. All right, let's get this tour started. Sure. Has anyone ever told you you look like Freddie Mercury? No. Check out this incredible open concept. Wow, this is nice. Are these hardwood floors? Hold on, let me check. You don't notice. Yeah, they're hardwood. Okay. And how many bedrooms does it have? 3 bedrooms. Okay, you really remind me of Freddie Mercury. That's funny. I've only ever gotten Chris Hemsworth and Jason Momoa. Right. Okay, listen, what if I want to put in I'm so sorry. I've got to go. What? My mama. She's killed a man.
All right, let me go back real quick and
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. All right, let's get this tour started. Sure. Has anyone ever told you you look like Freddie Mercury?
stop it. All right. Okay, real quick. First off, who thought that was good? It's good, right? Okay, and if you didn't think it was good, whatever.
When he dropped
It's a perspective, but it's still like I got laughs. I mean, he got laughs.
It was funny because he dropped his coat on the floor, and I was looking at the 2 closet across from it in the hall, and I thought, man, that has 2 closets. I wouldn't have noticed that before.
Because I love it. Everybody has a different perspective.
The production quality wasn't amazing.
It wasn't.
But
He
it was
used his
funny.
phone. No. I talked to him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you have to tell me some things. And we just hadn't had a good conversation about it. He's like, I thought this was a stupid idea, but I figured I'd do it anyway. And he used his phone, nothing crazy. He had a friend do it. Could be a lender, I don't know. And then at the end, he put his logo.
Yeah.
Probably took him 30 minutes. Probably. Right? Asterisk. In that list of links, there is a Facebook group I created. In there I have, it's called Kick Butt Real Estate Videos, and this is one of them. That is a hilarious video. So I have at least 20 videos where I'm like, people need to see these things, and they have no idea they exist. So if you're looking for ideas for content, or parody, or you just want to spin off of that, that's one of them.
And that's on your Facebook?
It's in a group, not my personal, but it's just a Facebook group.
Okay.
Great area for rip off and duplicate.
Great area for rip off and duplicate. Absolutely. Remember? Tom Ferry, rip off and duplicate. R&D. We're used to research and development. We'll make this big. Okay. Another asterisk. In that list of links, I have an example script and a blank script. So you can print it or download it. If you are going to create a story, please do not look on the MLS, see that house is vacant, and go out there and just record it on the fly. You can do that, but it is very difficult to get any kind of rankings or any kind of like real presence, and that's what I see most people do. If you're going to do something that you want to grow, and you're going to invest in, then actually invest in it. Figure out what you're going to say. It doesn't have to be very scripted, but just like a basic bullet outline so that you're not squirrely like I am. If I didn't have this PowerPoint, I don't know what I'd be talking about. For real. It's incredible. The big ones, so this is the order of a lot of successful videos. Why are they watching? You tell them that first, within the first 8 seconds of the video starting. If you're going to put it on a platform like YouTube and it's going to be like a listing, they have to understand. So in that video that I had over 10,000 views, it was just, I pulled up in a car to a house and I'm like, listen, if you're looking for a good neighborhood, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths or whatever it was, and you want something new, this might be the house for you. Right away. First thing I did. And then I had my little subscribe button pop up because I didn't want to ask them for it. Emotion. They see me drive up. Anything like that avocado toast thing, anything I can do to create emotion, whether it's, my personal style, my branding, I put my hat on everything, it's the business cards, right? There's something that will cause them to either like you or dislike you, and either one is shareable if you follow the formula. Okay? And then topic, disrupt topic. So the reason why I showed that first video, I was going through different parts of the house. I was like, there's this countertop, there's this fridge, and then I showed that clip from Coming to America, right? That's personal to me. I grew up on Coming to America, love that movie, and I'm, shaded. So it's important. That's like personal to me, right? So, and I think it's funny. Now, I'm only going to attract other people that think it's funny, but I'm talking about something, I disrupt it, because I am not naturally as funny, but that clip is funny. And then I go back to the topic. Important. If it's long, that was a 9-minute video. And I watch my stats. Most people watch my videos on average for about 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Right? So I'm working on them. But YouTube and some of the other platforms show you how long people are on there. That's another reason why I put it on there. Your content, if you have education, that's huge. Jokes that you want to tell, that can be all the disrupting content. Q&A, you can do little polls and say, hey, do you own a house? I don't even know if you own a house. Why are you watching this? And then it's a little poll that pops up, and you can do that on any platform. It gets people to engage. So yeah. Anything that you can do to get people to engage. And that's why I asked, what made people share? It's not about likes as much as it is about commenting or sharing. And this is no matter where you are and what you're making. Cool? Questions, thoughts? Good? Yeah, too basic, too technical? Anything? Anyway, free, download the script, it's blank, and I also have an example if I were to put words in there for a video that I would do, just so you can kind of see. Little link. I'm going to spend about 30 seconds on this. Story. Think about what it is you want to do. Use your script, fill it in. That might take you 20 minutes. Check your gear with that checklist. Go record. I am going to talk about this for a moment. When I record, I told you I set something down, I press record, or I'll press the button on the remote, I'll record. I actually do that sometimes 2 or 3 times, or I'll do it once real quick when I first get there, so that I can make sure that the sound is good, the camera looks good, and nothing wonky has changed with the settings. And then I'll go through and do everything. Because the worst thing is to go and spend time on making a video, and then you leave and you're sitting down in your jammies and you're like, oh, I'll put something together. And then all of a sudden you realize you're missing this and this and that. That would really stink. Stink is the word. So you can use multiple cuts, and then at the end, when I show you the types of software, you can actually take that and just delete the stuff that didn't work. Right? Or only put in the clips that do work. Press record, say what you're, smile, say what you're gonna say, press record. And then if you have 10 of those, that's your video. Put them all together, and you're done. Cool? So review it while you're on site if you can. Then you get it wherever you're going to get it. You can edit it on your phone. You can edit it on your computer. You can not edit it. Doesn't matter. It depends on your workflow and how much time you actually want to invest in it. You can pay somebody to do it. That ends up helping a lot. But what does KW teach? Leverage time versus money, right? Time versus money is super important. If you have all the time in the world, no deals, go do this. I guarantee if you put as much effort into this as you did, I don't know, your last job, maybe getting your license or something, you will get some results. Then you publish it, wherever you're going to publish it. I wrote the word period because you can actually, you have all these different platforms. You can publish it on YouTube and then schedule it to go out on Facebook 3 days later, and then schedule it to go out on Instagram 3 days later, and then you're always getting traffic back to your YouTube page. Little hack. Because you do it all once, and then you walk away. And then later you come back and you look at your stats. That's how I can tell you that I have 247 views of videos every other day. So every 48 hours, 247 people are seeing me somewhere in the world. Most of them between the ages of 25 and 44. 60% men. It was around 50-50 men and women. So something I did recently caused more men to follow me. So I gotta change my socks or something. I don't know. I don't know. I want women to follow me. Look at these. Look. This is a plan. See that? It's so dumb. But I love it so much. Can you see it?
A lot of men are boring. I think they watch you because you're fun.
Ridiculous. So look at your stats, because when I saw that that people only watch my videos for 2 minutes and 46 seconds, I'm like, ooh, I got to change things up. And so I started doing that. I started changing things up a little bit to make sure that they stay a little longer. That's where the topic, disrupt, topic comes from. That disruption keeps people engaged. I don't have that many jokes. If I'm writing my script, I might put jokes in there or clips. And I think about all that stuff before I do it, because I really hate having to redo things. Don't you? Right? You don't want to spend all this time learning and doing things and then have to redo it, or it sucks. Okay, and then analyze your stats. Done. Okay. So, how do you do it? What's our time look like? We've got time. We've got time. All right. Somebody, I need anybody to volunteer for me. We're going to do a quick video. Sure. Somebody's got to come up here. Somebody.
Oh, we got one.
We're proud of you. Thank you. Yeah. What's your name?
Taylor.
Ian. Nice to meet you, Taylor. How are you today?
You're good. Depending on what I have to do.
Okay. Wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ian.
Thank you. All right.
That's it?
Make it exciting.
Oh. Happy birthday, Ian.
Great.
Good.
Now, I'm going to record you. Wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ian.
You notice she didn't look at me.
Oh, I was like...
She looked at the phone.
What? Oh, I thought you
That's
said...
okay.
Okay.
No, that's okay. That's actually really good. And this is kind of, live testing, right? That's really good. That's really good. I like that. All right. So now, if you were going to talk to your best friend, how would you wish them a happy birthday? Like, this is your girl, right?
Happy birthday.
What would you tell her? What's so special about this person?
You've been a loyal friend for the past 20 years. We've been through so much together. I love you so much. You're like a sister to me.
I love that, right? Yeah. So that's very genuine, right? It's different than when I said, say happy birthday to me. She didn't know me. But when she did that, I was like, oh, all moved. It's nice. It's nice. Now, you can take that. I didn't record that one because I wanted you to be fully genuine. Let's say I had recorded it, and a couple people here know what I do with that kind of stuff. Every single day, someone's having a birthday in my database. I take that message that I recorded and I send it directly to them via social media from a YouTube link. Every day. Good job. It's just to show the difference in response and the difference in how genuine you are when you I don't know, when you think about what it is you're saying and who the person is. So you take that. The reason why I send it in social media every day is because, as self-serving as this is, it gets people on my YouTube channel, and it reconnects with them on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever they are, and brings me back up in the algorithm. And it creates a conversation. That's just one thing that I do. I get to talk to people without actually talking to people. Isn't that what an ad is? Isn't that what any video you make is? There it is. You've probably read it already. Thoughts? Thoughts. Just a way to get in front of more people. Consistent, yes.
So, should we just hire somebody to do this? Because it's like, it's so bad. I mean, like, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about technology. Even though I'm a millennial, I'm just like, maybe I was born in the wrong, like, maybe I'm like in this world, like, I'm like in the wrong dimension. And it's just, like, what is even a good price to pay for these types of things? Do people charge $200 per video?
That is a cheap video.
$50? That's
$200 is a cheap
So
video.
it's better to just learn how to do it if you're gonna do like a video for every open house, a video
Leverage
for every.
time versus money. That's the key. This is what you were taught. You got into real estate. You may have had money, but the idea is you got into real estate so you can make money, right? The idea is so you can make money. Learn how to do the things that keep your business running. That is the point of those memes I showed earlier. Because you think just getting your license is going to make you money. No, you are now a professional marketer. You are now a videographer. Right? You're making videos. You're now understanding the tax ramifications for running an LLC versus a corp. You have to learn that stuff. That's a business.
A more successful business coach than me, a guy named Jack Canfield, says, do 6 things 1,000 times versus 1,000 things 6 times. So if you can do something like this 1,000 times, you're really not going to need to pay someone exuberant amounts of money to do it for you. The things that you can offload are those things like keeping up with what your tax ramifications are, your bookkeeping. Get someone else to do that. Driving your business, that's your job.
That's your job. Lead generation is your only job in this business, in almost any business. Yes.
I pay $200 for a professional video of my listing.
Sure.
And I have a professional photographer that does the tour.
Huh?
The last listing I took, I got over 200 people to my open house.
Great.
On a Saturday and Sunday from this tour.
Beautiful.
I put it on the internet and online. And I think it's worth investing $200 on a listing because the sellers expect professionalism. But I love what you're doing to attract buyers because buyers want to have fun.
Yeah.
They want to have fun. They do.
They do. They want to look at homes, do business. But they don't want to be with somebody boring. They want to be with somebody fun and knowledgeable.
They want knowledge, and they want whatever your personality is. Because not everybody wants that. I remember, I told you I've been in about 27 countries. I'm adding 3 more in April. When I would teach, I taught a class in Singapore, and I remember telling a joke. Don't remember what the joke is. Dead silence. Everybody was like, it did not translate. I felt so weird. But that's okay, because I'm not trying to sell a house to them.
But see, when I spent $200 on that virtual tour, I also got 8 offers on the house.
Oh my gosh.
The seller was the first assistant chief financial officer for Dell, and he's sending me all these relocation people from California now because he thinks we're very professional and very good. So you use your discernment to decide where to invest your money.
Yeah, I'm like, that $200 is getting you millions of dollars.
That was worth it.
But you don't know that.
Yeah.
You have to try. You have to start and try to see if this is something you enjoy. There are parts of your business you love and parts that you don't. How many in here hire a transaction coordinator? Okay, so a handful of you. Because you don't like to do paperwork. I would never do paperwork if it were my choice. Ever in my life.
True story.
It's a true story. I hate it. It's so boring to me. But then I remember I used to work with this one lady. That's all she would do. She's like, just give me piles of paper. And she would just, that's what you live for.
I mean, I love paperwork, but it takes away from everything else when you're having to do.
It also does that prioritization.
Yeah.
You already wear. What do we wear? 1,000 hats or something? Yeah. Anyway, so this is just another one, but it's the most.
Just 6 things at that one time.
Yeah.
But that's your professionalism. You know what you're good at. You focus on it. You hire out what you don't like.
So I was talking to Brent before class started, and I told him that I basically, for the last probably year and a half, sat down, ignored everybody, and learned. When I said I spend all my time on YouTube, I spend all my time learning. Whether it's real estate, whether it's video, whether it's understanding, NLP, right? Whether it's understanding the sales process, efficiency. That's all I love learning, and I like sharing. So it takes a lot of time, but once you do it and once you get efficient at it, and a lot of it's tools. If you have exactly what you need, like if I just had this and a tripod, I'd probably be okay. But I like learning and growing and getting more and more and more. If I just did this, so I have a one video that I put on YouTube, 2017 or something, tons of views. It was a 360 video. My point there is I put that video on there and it just collects views. It was super popular, and all I did was walk through a house. It was 360, so different is better than, different, better is different. I don't remember the quote, but it was making sure that it was different. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was doing that. So when I did it, I got all these organic views, and it was unique. And
it shows
it's still sitting there, and it shows my personality.
Yeah.
But it was just one little device that I would hold up and talk.
That's good.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep this. I'm gonna try to keep it very simple. So first thing, that page I sent earlier, the very first page I sent, there's a link that shows the different types of software. I'm just gonna try to explain the concept of the software. This is if you want to invest the time. There's super easy, intermediate, a little more time, but a little more value and production quality. And then there's, holy crap, I don't want to spend when I realize that, what are they called? When I realize that a videographer, a true professional, is going to cost me $10,000. I have a friend that paid $10,000 for a commercial. Personal friend, $10,000. Like, what?
Did it work?
Yeah. It did. It did. But that Freddie Mercury video has about the same amount of views, and he just put it out 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. So if you have the story, you have whatever's engagement, the relationship, or understand who your audience is, you don't need this. But one of the big differences is as you move up, you can get to this, you can add in all these different sound effects and layers of videos and transitions. I did one video, my most recent video, in the Eventbrite link, there's one of my videos, the link for this class. And in that video, I have myself talking to myself 3 times. And everybody's like, how did you do that? I took the time to learn how to do that. It's easy after you learn how to do it, just like real estate. You all learned how to get through these transactions so you can help your buyers and your sellers. It's easier to you. But they don't know that. But you took the time to go through class. Same thing here, okay? YouTube has a built-in editor if you want to just add music and stuff. Very basic. Instagram, TikTok. That's why these are prolific. TikTok. Who? Show of hands. How many people are on TikTok in this room? One. Probably because your kids got you on there? Yeah. The thing about TikTok is it's actually a really good editor. Like, they have all these different music you can add in. They've got different like graphics and stuff. You've seen Instagram posts where it asks you yes, no, this and that, stories, right? Same thing with TikTok. But the difference is you can hit export in TikTok after you create it and send it to YouTube. You can send it to Facebook. You can send it to anywhere. And the only difference is it has a little TikTok logo in the bottom corner. Free.
Wow.
Free right now. Get on it. Even if you don't do anything but oh my gosh. Their biggest videos are freaking puppies gyrating to some new music that's out. If you love puppies and that's part of your marketing or your branding, throw it in there. If you love your children and they walk through Diana Kokoska, the originator of Bold, right? She used to keep her kids in a wagon, walk around, take them as she's door knocking. You think people didn't hire her because she saw the struggle? That's all you're doing is you're sharing yourself, not investing too much effort outside of who you are. That's important. I think that's to your specific point. You were saying, I'm not good at this, but I'm a millennial. But you are good at something. You are yourself, and you have friends, right? Whatever you're sharing online, or whatever you're liking and resharing online, that's you. Just do that. And don't invest money until you have it. Sorry. All right, any questions on this? Oh, iMovie is free for anybody who has a Mac user, I think, or anybody who has a Mac. And Filmora, the difference is that it's a little bit of money, but it's for anybody who has a Windows computer. And they also both of them have mobile apps. So, and then advanced. If you really want to get serious, then this is what you get.
Don't start there.
unless you know that you're going to get really serious. Because then you start there and you don't have to worry about the other. But the reason why I brought this up, this is the difference. You get one line of video, one line of audio, and maybe a picture. Intermediate, they add a little more, they add different clips, and then advanced. So when I make videos, I've got, oh my gosh, all my different clips of things, and then all these different sections of cuts, and then all these layers. My business card is in there. It's ridiculous, but I love it. It's also free. This is a free software, but your time isn't free.
All three of those are free? Or which one is free?
Sorry. DaVinci Resolve is this, and it's free. It's in the app. I actually labeled whether it's free or paid in that link.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So, just real quick, quality versus quantity. You can see how this is a trap. You get that? You're like, okay, I gotta learn some stuff. Same with this. Oh my, you see how much garbage I have? But I have an IT background. I love this. I live for this kind of stuff. Think about the format for your audience. How old is your son?
My oldest is almost 24.
So he's 24, getting ready to buy a house. This is interesting. Anybody in this room know who Steve Jobs is? Yeah? Okay. He's a genius. He gave Apple computers to a bunch of schools years and years and years ago. And that is why Apple is successful today. Because all these kids grew up on it. They're like, it's easier than Windows. I'm going to use it. He just gave them to schools. And now Apple is valued at a lot of billions of dollars.
Michael Dell did that in Austin.
Michael Dell. He lives here, but yeah, that's excellent. So it's a great one. He probably read Steve's autobiography, or biography.
I'll tell you, a lot of kids in '89 bought Dell stock at $4 a share.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm going to tell you, they did real well.
They did real well. So my point of that is, he knew what he was doing for his audience. So if you're creating videos of puppies, that's great for people who like puppies. If your audience is people that don't have puppies, whatever. I don't click on puppies, but I know people do. And I know a lot of people buy their houses based on what their animals need if they don't have children. Think about your audience and what you're creating. That makes it shareable. But if you don't love doing it, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And then the software. So this is important. If you are using something on Apple and then you want to switch and buy a Windows machine, that becomes a huge ordeal. But if you use something like, I think I mentioned Filmora or YouTube to do your editing, it works on both. So, or TikTok, you can create it on there and then send it wherever. It doesn't matter what phone you have, doesn't matter what computer you have. All right, enough of that. Okay, so this addresses your question, Mary, right? So this addresses your question from earlier. You said, this is genius, by the way. She said, can I just take a PowerPoint, a bunch of slides, and then move them around, and then create a video out of that? That is exactly what all of that software does with your clips of video. It's drag and drop. But when you first open it up, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? But once you get the concept that you're taking one video clip, 2 video clips, 3 video clip, and you're just moving it and going like this, you should click. That's all it is. When you open up the software, you're taking these clips and you're just dragging it, and then you can do a little cut right here, take that little bit off, and you're done. It's not as hard as it sounds or looks once you start doing it. The biggest thing is most people don't start doing it. You just need the right software, a couple of clips of video, and it's drag and drop. It really is. And you can take a clip, drag it in, and then take a picture of a house and drag it in. And that's it. And you have a video. Or take your business card, picture of your business card, drag it at the end, and you're done. It doesn't have to be very complicated.
So then when do you put the voice in or the music?
So when you drag it in, if the clip already has sound in, then you don't.
It's already done.
If you have music, if you go get music, there's a link on there to where to get music. If you use popular songs, you'll get like copyright claims and people start complaining and removing your video and all that. YouTube actually has a free music library, which is a link on that sheet. You can just hit download and slide it into here, and you're done. Done. Yes?
What about the little clips where, like, say for instance you love like Ferris Bueller and you put a little skit in there, or like a little something, like what about copyright infringement or something weird for that? Or even the Coming to America. I love Coming to America.
Yeah. First answer, check with your broker. No, that's not the truth. First answer, be careful. And I say that because a clip is one thing. When you, like, there are people that'll take a whole section of video. I've been flagged every which way because I've tested these things. If you just take a clip, it's usually okay, but anything that you take and you change, and it's not the whole thing, it's just like a section, it's usually fine.
Like if you attenuate the sound or the...
Yeah, and that's why you'll watch videos and you'll see that. You'll see videos. Who here has seen a reaction video on YouTube? Wow.
Oh, well, they'll like make the voice deeper or something like that.
No. So, how do I explain this? A reaction video. So I am a fan of Eminem, Marshall Mathers. He is the #1 selling artist. He's a little aggressive, but I'm a fan of his lyrical ability. I love how creative he is. Every word that every phrase that he puts out usually has, it's like a double or a triple entendre. That's what I love. I love the creativity. So I bring that up because there are a lot of people who are wildly successful with millions of views on YouTube, and all they do is anytime someone like Eminem comes out with a song, they pull up their laptop, they hit record on the screen, they have their their video camera going, they listen to the music, and then every couple seconds they pause it and they're like, can you believe he just said that? Oh my God, it's the craziest thing. And that's all they do. And they have millions of views. But I'll tell you what, it's funny. It's engaging because they ask stuff like, did you hear what he just said? Or do you want a different song? And here's a big one. They actually analyze what's happening. They'll say, he just said this, this, and this. It means X. It also means Y. And so people that don't understand, I'll say that don't understand hip-hop or aren't that invested in it, but understand that he is a creative genius, even if it's aggressive or whatever. It helps you learn more about that. And you can do that with anything. I actually thought about doing that for real estate videos. That's why I have that playlist called Kick Butt Real Estate Videos. I'm like, how cool would it be to just sit there and talk about, look, why is this good? What do you think a class is? I showed you a Freddie Mercury video. I'm going to ask you questions on it. That's educational. Hey, look what you can do with very little effort. What kind of reaction are you going to give me to that? So,
and there's no weird copyright stuff with that, right?
So the reason why I brought it up, sorry, super scroll. The reason why I brought it up, reaction videos specifically, is because you'll notice, or I noticed because I've studied this, they'll pause the music every once in a while, and then they'll talk. Because pausing it keeps the copyright from flagging. You can't just take a whole long song or clip or anything like that. You can't. That's illegal. Because you're taking someone else's work and saying, hey, I'm doing this. You're pretending to be someone else. But if you take a section and use it to enhance what you're talking about, not a problem. Go back to TikTok. TikTok has licensed sections or samples of music that you can apply to any video. That's another reason why it's really popular, because they're all licensed songs that you have access to for free. So if you make your video on TikTok, it could be, Rihanna, or I don't know, who you like, Mary? Who do you listen to? Sorry, who does your target audience listen to? You listen to music. You have to hear music on the radio. What station is it on? Anything.
I don't know. Wrong person to
Anybody? Who?
Pantera.
Pantera? Okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. That is actually very interesting, because immediately people are connected to you. They're like, oh, is that Pantera? Like, they get really into it because it's depending on when you're born, when you listen to it, it could be, gosh, who's a similar band? Anybody know Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Smashing Pumpkins are from my hometown. Nobody would assume that. They'd be like, so? Yeah, right? But if I hear that, immediately I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. I might not like them now, or I don't know if Billy Corgan or whatever is still doing anything, but God, that still brings back memories. I'm immediately connected and I want to share it. Just like that Freddie Mercury video, even if you don't care, it should have elicited some kind of emotion. Right? Anybody who knows who Queen is, I mean, they changed the music industry, just like Elvis.
And you use
just
tiny
like
little clips, like
just a
very
little clip.
small, just to enhance.
Just a little clip.
Yeah. But the likeness, though. What about likeness?
Well, that's funny.
Like.
I'm not going to show you a picture, but if anybody connects with me on Facebook, I have a picture where I dress up as Mr. T. I'm thinking about doing that for a video, because I think that would be fun. And when I say I dressed up, like I was wearing the vest, I shaved my head to have a mohawk.
Oh, no.
And I tell you, everybody thought it worked. You've seen that picture, right? Yeah. It was the most successful, and of course I went down on 6th Street and everybody's like, I pitied the fool! I pitied the fool! I pitied. That's what everybody did. I don't like Mr. T, but it worked. You have somebody. Everybody's got a famous doppelganger or whatever. Anyway, I'm super squirrel. But we're good. We're good on time today. Okay, where do you mark it? This is an interesting question. Let's say you make a video today. Where do you put it? Open-ended question. Where do you put it?
Probably.
Everywhere's a good idea.
You said probably Facebook. You say everywhere, right? Here's what's partially possible. Partially possible. That's a lot of everywhere. What was that quote you said earlier?
6 things 1,000 times versus 1,000 things 6 times.
Right? You cannot keep up with this without paying or without having a master strategy and only doing this. You cannot, as a single person. Now, if you have a kid that's just like, you give me $20, I'll do it all the time. There you go. Fine. but that's still way too many. Like, and I took the time to type all this out, where the larger ones are the most popular, and then as they get smaller, they start to get overlooked. LinkedIn is up here, Facebook Business, Google My Business. That one's huge. Pop buys. Can you imagine? God, can you imagine a pop buy where you give them a gift and it's like a branded USB stick and it looks like a Hershey's bar or something like that, and you say open it up, and then inside is a video saying, hey, guess what? I just wanted to give you a bunch of Hershey's Kisses, or just, I don't know, something silly. But if it's a YouTube, drive, a USB drive. God, why did I say YouTube? I gotta get YouTube off the brain. So if it's a USB drive and they can plug it into the computer, they might watch it, right? Or if it's a little card on your business card. Okay, real quick, everybody look at my business card. I don't put my name on the front page. Why? Or on the front page. Oh my gosh. I don't put my name on the front. Because
it forces someone to turn to the back.
It forces people to turn to the back. That's something I learned from studying Japanese business cards. Or, I'm sorry, the Japanese culture and how they respond to business cards. A lot of people just throw them away. In Japanese culture, it's like respectful to take it, study the front, flip it over, study the back. I had to give people a reason to flip it over. Anybody ever seen the movie American Psycho?
Yeah.
You remember that business card clip? I've used that in one of my videos. It's so ridiculous. Where they sit there and everybody, all these crazy Wall Street guys drop out their business card, which looks the same to most people, but then they talk about, oh, this one is like ivory tusk, matte, paper, and this one's glossy, but looking at it, you're like, they're all the same. It's crazy what people pick up on, the little details. So, pop buys, put a link on something as you're handing things out. Your business card with a free scoop of ice cream at your favorite local ice cream shop. Send it in the mail. Or drop it off at their doorstep with a gift card or something. And on that card, a cute saying and maybe even a website or a link to one of your videos. People don't think about this stuff. They don't do that. But it's a way to get people who are offline online and following and looking at you. Direct mail, most of it has a URL, an address. Most of it has a website or something. Just be out there. Be accessible to whoever your audience is. You can put a newspaper ad. Oh my gosh, imagine if you put an ad in a newspaper and all it was a website and it says 4 homes to find houses. Nobody does that garbage, but it would probably work. It's the same thing as bandit signs. They just want you to call them because now you're in their database. And here's another thing I studied. I learned about bandit signs. The reason why they're so effective is because they're basically trash hanging on telephone poles. And what it does, it gets people that are not doing as well in life to call because they're desperate. That is the target market for bandit signs, but it works very well to get people that need to offload a home. And it says, I buy fast, cash, or whatever. They thought about their market, then they threw it out there. So when you're creating these videos, think about your market. My birthday video, everybody. It's literally everybody. Oh my gosh, I just had a guy reach out on LinkedIn saying, I used to work with him in Chicago, Illinois. He sends me a message on LinkedIn. He said, hey, do you know anything about Cedar Park, Texas? I was like, he saw one of my videos that I posted on LinkedIn. He said, I actually own a house in Cedar Park. It's been rented out for the last 2 years, but I'm thinking of selling it. Originally, we were going to move there and relocate and retire there. But our kids just had kids, so we're going to stay up north. Would you like to list it? If you want it, it's yours. I was like, yeah. I mean, can't do that in text, but I could create a voice message and then send it and be like, and he's going to respond. It creates a conversation. What does mean? Why would you say that? I was like, of course I would. I'm sorry. Let me get a little more professional for the moment. Right.
You didn't say that's where the National Spelling Bee champion came from?
No, I did not.
That would have knocked us off.
Oh my gosh. That's good. All right. Text me if you have any questions, man.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right. So, to Matt's point, choose your top platform. This is important. Pick where you want to be, where you think your target market is, or where you feel you'll have the most reach. Are you playing the long game? Are you playing the short game? There was a debate on Facebook at 5 o'clock this morning in a realtor video group that I'm part of. And they were like, should I focus on YouTube or Instagram? Right? And the first answer that came back is Instagram is your 2 to 5 year game plan. YouTube is your 5 to 20 year career plan. I was like, right? I like to play devil's advocate. I said, the thing is, people that are older than millennials don't understand that YouTube has a search bar at the top, and a lot of younger than millennials use that. Now, if you go and you say, find a home in Round Rock, nobody hashtags that, or do they? You probably do.
Yeah, they have.
Now, if you do that, you would come up, which is interesting. The other thing about it is Instagram has a whole TV mode. There's a whole TV mode to get people in, and it's competition for YouTube. So if you did that, you're the only person that comes up. Versus YouTube, where 10,000 people come up. It might be the short game, but it's also the exposure game. So think your audience, what your vision and your career is. All right. So these are tips that these are those marketing hacks. I think I need to call it that, right? Choose a top platform and then use these hacks to market. Okay, so a couple things that I've done that have been very, very, very successful. Before I post a video, so I've already done all the work, and I'm getting ready to publish a video, I will go comment on everybody. I'll do a search in Instagram or something, and I'll comment on everybody's video, or on Facebook, comment on everybody who I want to see my video, who I haven't talked to in a while. And then when I post it, they'll get notified. It's terrible, but it's strategy, right? Because otherwise, Facebook's only going to show you the top 25 people you connect with the most. First off, I connect with people every time they have a birthday at minimum, and then I also comment before I release a video on the people that I know have been thinking about looking for a house, or are past clients, and they just created made this beautiful looking shrimp dinner, and I care not at all, but I appreciate the effort that it takes to do that. So I said, man, that looks amazing. Very cool. Done. Now, when I post a video a day later, I'm going to show up. Another one. Birthday video. Once it's recorded, you have a link for wherever it is. It can be a link on Facebook, it can be a link on YouTube, whatever. I can send that anywhere. One thing I tried is I created a short, I don't know if it was a picture, I think it was a post or a video, and I sent it as a text. And I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you just check this out? Tell me what you think. To people that I'm close to. And that one on Instagram ended up getting me, 170 likes. I'm a guy. I'll just say I'm not the attractive person that someone can post and all of a sudden you have 10,000 likes. I'm not that person. So when I did that, I was like, oh crap, this works pretty well. And it's legitimate. Because then people cared. Because I asked them. I always try to take care of people, and then they reciprocate. Law of reciprocity. So that's what that is. Specifically, hey, what do you think about this? Be honest. That's engagement. So search related, and few people know this. When you go into Google and you type in how to build a new house in Round Rock, Texas. As you start typing that in Facebook,
here's a result from search.
Stop it. As you start typing this in YouTube, on Google, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, it knows and it will pre-fill it. When it pre-fills it, you know that people are looking for that because it tries to guess based on what people are looking for. It's like, did you mean Round Rock? Or did you mean Cedar Park? Because your location is that, so you're probably thinking that. So that's the AI. That's what the machine is doing. So all you need to do is make it work. And when you have a video that does that, it's link juice. I don't remember where I heard that term from, but it creates power when you post something. And that's how I ended up on the first page of Google. One reason why. So if somebody types in the address and I come up for a house that isn't even my listing, by the way, but it was a $900,000 house that I did get permission for and I made a fun video. That's the one that's in the link. Free marketing, and I'm on Google, and the realtor that listed it isn't. You tell them that up front, people get really worried. They're like, I don't know my client's seeing that. I do that all the time. Somebody looks at my listing and I say, hey, listen, if they don't remember the house or they're judging between a couple houses, they don't remember what it looks like, I would like some feedback here. Give them this video to remind me. Oh, they get mad. They don't like that. Because I did it better than they would have. I know that. I keep it humble, but I know that. So I'm thinking about that as I'm saying it. Yes.
When you ask a listing agent about doing a video, like, okay, basically, do you have to ask the owner or the listing agent? Or both of them? Or
Respectfully, you ask the listing agent, but it's the responsibility for the owner to say yes.
All communication goes through the agent.
Absolutely. Just to,
We're not
that's respect, because they're going to say no if you don't go to them.
Yeah,
now,
I'm like, how do I
here's another thing.
Well, because she's the only one that can talk to the sellers. She has a listing agreement.
Sometimes the listing agent will put the seller contact information on the MLS. I exploit the heck out of that. I say, okay, obviously you want me talking to your seller for scheduling, just to schedule a walkthrough. Just to schedule a walkthrough. So what happens is I will CC both of them. I'll say, hey, listen, I have some buyers that might be interested. Would you be all right with me doing a quick video to showcase the property?
Yeah.
Both of them are there, the listing agent and the seller, because they're the ones I have to ask to schedule anyway. I'm being respectful by including the listing agent. I could just go around them, but that's not right.
No, it isn't right.
It's not
because
right.
It doesn't, you'd be having a hearing with TAR,
Good.
agency disclosure.
Absolutely.
Because it says in your agency agreement, all communication goes through the agent, and that person is their agent.
But when the agent does that, there's usually a little note that says, contact them to schedule a showing.
That's to make an appointment.
I am making an
It's
appointment.
not to
Yeah,
talk
make
to
an
them.
appointment,
but
make
it's
the
not-
video,
I mean,
right?
we've had lawsuits where the buyer starts talking to the seller about
I don't talk to.
where are you moving to, when will you be out,
Yeah,
the buyer's
I get
like
that.
your
That
house,
is
they're
way past,
negotiating the contract.
way past crossing the line.
But I'll tell you, you get in trouble because the listing agent doesn't know how far you went.
Again, why I will make a video that says, hey, I'm going to make a video. Here's an example of what I do. Is this okay? And I send that if I'm going to do a video. So that, the $900,000 house is a person in my brokerage. He doesn't care. He's doing, oh God, $20 million a year or something. Like, he doesn't care.
But still get it in writing.
Yeah, that's the text or the email. Or the email. Absolutely, directly to the agent. But I can do that if I have a video to share. And then it gets them on my page to see what I'm doing. All later. Okay. Answer questions. If you answer questions, like when you're searching on YouTube, that's your educational piece, you stand out. In that one video, Reddit. Who here uses Reddit? That's good. A few of you, right? I see questions all the time on Facebook groups, especially, or on Reddit or something like that. They say, I'm thinking about doing some video. What kind of stuff works? And I'm like, boom, post an example. This works, got me 5 transactions. You think that gets me views? Yeah, free marketing. Sorry. And then giveaways. You can do like giveaways on your videos just to get people to show up and all that sort of stuff. So those are marketing hacks. Easy ways to keep in front of people, easy to see, hear, understand, and to share. So the understand part is interesting because you can do free captioning. There are, I want to say it's like 70%, don't quote me on this, like 70% of people don't even listen to the sound on video. I'm like, how does that, really? But you think about it, when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're not looking at the sound. So put captioning. Now that particular captioning, I don't know if on this computer, Spanish is the default. Doesn't matter, because if my audience is speaking Spanish, I will refer the heck out of that. I don't speak Spanish, but I have lenders that do. I'll get them pre-qualified and then charge a little more for the referral fee when I send it to an agent. It's pre-qualified.
Do you have to put a script then if you do something like that? Like
No, in YouTube it'll try to auto-generate. It's about as good as Google Translate. So it's not direct. But if you have a friend that speaks Spanish or you know how to speak Spanish, then you can go in and take the time. That's an investment. It might take you 10 minutes. But if it gets you one buyer, God, just because you put the text. All right, post the video link. Remember how I said you can plan out and schedule it out? Sorry if I go over. It's 2:57. I'm trying to condense. I'm almost done. Page 28, so only a couple more slides. You might get one on LinkedIn, on a website. Let's say you post a blog, you might get 4 views there. On Facebook, 9 views, 1 share. 15 in a text message because you asked them, and then 43 comments in a group because you answered a question. The key here is it's one video. You did it one time, and your work is rewarded multiple times. Now, you're rewarded in the algorithm because now you're at the top of people's minds and you show up, like on Facebook or LinkedIn, because you recently communicated with them, especially if you text them and the video's on LinkedIn. Now they know you're on LinkedIn and they'll connect with you. So that's one. And then evergreen, something that's educational, or that listing. I don't care if they can buy the house today. I want to. Oh my God, if I could sell a $900,000 house for spending a couple hours making a video, that's great. However, that will be there and tied to that address over anybody else. Period.
would you put the address on the video? Isn't that like a little bit far? Because what about the person who buys
The
that
first
house,
thing in the comments is listed by and the brokerage. That is the very first thing anybody sees in the description of the video. Because I still want to remain compliant and give credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just but wouldn't you want somebody to at least come to you for information?
Yeah, I have my business card there. I also have them subscribe. That's why I put a button there. I also ask them questions to engage. They're going to come to me if they like me.
No, I was about to say, because what's stopping them from just saying like, hey, I saw this, like how people are in Zillow. They're like, oh, I saw this house. Let me go to my realtor and ask them to find.
They're going to do that anyway. They meet you in a coffee shop, they're going to do that. There's no difference. The difference is, in a coffee shop, you just spent an hour and a half with somebody explaining the process and then they left. And this, you spent an hour and a half and you're explaining it to 1,000 people in 1 month. So then I do it again. Do it to 1,000 more. Oh wait, I don't have to because it's evergreen and it will continue getting itself to people. 247 views every 48 hours. And I am here. Important. Real quick, not more than 10 minutes. Video ideas. So, neighborhood amenities. Someone can take the time to go through and bless you. Someone can take the time to go through and talk about features of a neighborhood, right? Very few people actually do that. Very few people. A few people start to or try. There's one video in my Kick Butt videos, they talk about Thirsty Thursdays. And every Thursday they just go to a different room and they talk about what their experience is, they sit with the owner, and they throw that up on YouTube. It takes them, half an hour of doing something they love, and it's free views. And it gets people who like beer to talk to them.
So they're probably going to jive.
So they're going to jive. It's personality. You're selling yourself, which is your job. Selling yourself. So another one, where to go for Mother's Day. That's a video I started on last year, and then I was like, I got too many other things to do. It will happen this year. What are the top 10 places? Sorry, I don't even need to do 10. What are the top 5 places to take your mother for Mother's Day? Guess what? I have 25 million views on Google as a local guy. I'm in the top 1% in Austin, which means I go to places and take a lot of pictures of stupid stuff, but I experience it, I review it, and I have people paying attention to that. Right? That might not get me a sale, but it gets me in front of people. Okay? So when I talk about where to go for Mother's Day, it might actually be relevant. And it's going to sit there. because unless the restaurant closes down, right? All these, so I've got a book coming out at the end of March, and all these and 100 more are in there. Famous buildings in your town. Do you know that in Pflugerville, in Seal, Texas, there is a general store that was in the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Great, right? Silly stuff. How many more things like that? The Drake Hotel being haunted. Like, there's all sorts of things. What about the Kalahari? I'm from Wisconsin, Chicago, where the Kalahari was the largest one. That's the original one. So I was not far from Wisconsin Dells, where everybody would travel across the world. I met Russian people, other European people there. And now they're building it here. You don't understand the impact it's going to have on the neighborhood. Let's talk about it. Restaurants you have to try, same thing as Mother's Day. When I said Mother's Day, it could be take them to this park, do a picnic with your mom. That's very different than what anybody else is doing. Different is better than better. And how to switch your driver's license. Holy crap, that is the worst thing to try to do in the state of Texas when you don't know what you're doing. Where to go. I'm from Chicago, where you go to one place, it's called the DMV, you sit in line all day, and you're done. You leave with something. So I have a motorcycle, 2 cars, and now a wife. And it is just a pain in the butt. She's still changing her name on things from September. I said, that sucks for you. But I love you anyway, and I appreciate that you're doing it. I really, truly do. That stays there forever. My, I think, top performing video is Why Move to Austin in 2020. I made that video last year at the beginning of the year, and I did silly stuff like I put a potato over my head and I said, this is what I was like. I don't even know the relevance, but it was silly. And if you go to Why Move to Austin, I come up.
You just search Move to Austin.
Move to Austin. Yeah, Move to Austin. It's silly, but I had fun, right? And my branding is in front of, I don't know, 8,000 plus people free. Oh, so I was going to ask everybody to take a selfie and see if it was different. I'm not going to do it in the case of time, in this sake of time, but chances are, after learning what you've learned, you take a selfie and you're going to change the way you do it because the lighting matters. It's a big deal, right? You might not care about the sound or whatever. There's orientation. There's all sorts of things that we didn't talk about, right? Because I scroll a little bit. Okay, last slide. If I were to make any of these 3 classes, which one would be most valuable to you? And did you think that this particular one was valuable? Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. What I've gone through today, does it help you with something, anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then, so anytime you have any questions or whatever, feel free to text me. Catch me on social media. I don't put my name. Good.
This was a great class. Are you coming back?
If there's, I was afraid nobody was going to show up when it was the time. I was like, who's here? Oh.
But you need word of mouth advertising.
You do.
And we'll pump you up if you're coming back.
I will talk to Michelle and see if she would like that. Because I'm not with this brokerage, but I love teaching, I love sharing knowledge with people, and I love building relationships. So any of these 3. So the idea is I also want to refine the material, make sure it's good, cut out things that don't matter, and turn these into potential CE credits. Free if no CE, a little bit if you need CE. Do any of these get you excited?
Like A and C.
Okay.
I like the video hack because I don't know how to do any of it. Kind of like what you said. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, so any advice is helpful.
Cool.
You could just do a whole series, man.
No, I could. And I still have to be careful and not go too far, right? Because it takes a lot to get people to the class and all this other stuff. That's another reason why I did it here. I was like, people show up to class here. Nobody does videos. Cool.
I know, but us getting an email saying a class on videos and us getting an email saying a class on videos on how to get leads is much more powerful.
That's why I'm asking. Because I think I know, but everybody has a different perception. Good. Okay. And then any other questions? You have my contact information. Text me if you have anything. You also have a link to apps, to, the kick butt videos. and to the gear that I use. So if you need to just buy like a mic, it's on there. What were you gonna say?
So back to like using snippets or clips for
Yeah.
stuff. Do you find like there is a certain cutoff of time, like 3 or 4 seconds, 30 seconds?
You can get away with about less than 30 seconds. I think it's 25 seconds or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an easy answer. I had so much to talk about. I was like, I'm gonna get cut off. And I did. I have so many more things.
And one thing you want to think about, if you're adding 30 seconds from something else, you've now distracted them too much.
Yes, that's another part of this. I wanted to keep it short. I'm going to show you right now. I wanted to keep it short because I don't want to scroll all the time.
So when I type in your in, but you just put in the class?
Yes.
So I've already registered.
Yes. I'll send you
So is Bruce still?
That's amazing.
And then what's your number?
512-690-932.
We're a family here at Keller Williams, and families hug. With all the reuniting that's going on this week, we want to pass along a few helpful tips to make sure you're ready to hug. Tip number 1, be transparent. You don't want to scare your friend, catch them off guard, or put them on the defense. When going in for a hug, make it clear what you are doing. Tip number 2, show your sincerity. There is nothing worse than a sloppy, half-hearted attempt at a hug. Remember, a hug is a gift, and when you go in for the hug, grip your friend firmly in your arms for at least 2 seconds and mean it. Tip number 3, go with the flow. If you have a bear hugger approaching you, embrace it. Don't force the one-armed, half-hug backslap. Nothing says awkward more than trying to turn a bear hug into a halvesies. Now that's it. If you follow these simple tips, you'll be ready for an awesome week filled with hugs. And may I remind you, you gotta give and get 7 hugs a day, or you start to get a little bit weird. So let's all make it a goal to give out 7 hugs every single day. Happy hugging!